What if the space you see around you, the time you feel slipping through your hands, and the rules you believe are holding your life together were never as real as you thought? What if they were only agreements you made without realizing it, silent assumptions that shaped your world from the moment you were born? And what if, in a single moment of awareness, you could step beyond all of them? Imagine living in a reality where space is part of you, time bends or vanishes, and the chains of cause and effect dissolve into infinite possibility. Would you dare to experience it? We live most of our lives inside a world of habits, not just the habits of what we do, but the habits of what we believe. We believe the body is who we are. We believe time is an unstoppable river carrying us from birth to death. We believe cause and effect is the master rule that governs everything. These beliefs feel so obvious, so unshakable, that we rarely question them, and yet they are not the only way to experience reality. The teachings we've explored that space begins when we assume a body, time begins when we start thinking, and causality begins when we assume limitations are not abstract philosophies, they are invitations. They ask you to set down the lenses you've been looking through your entire life and to see what remains when you do. Imagine for a moment that you are holding a glass jar. Inside is a butterfly. You watch it flutter and turn, never leaving the walls of the jar. You might believe the jar is all there is until you lift the lid. Suddenly, the butterfly rises into the open air, into a world that was always there, but impossible to imagine from inside. Our usual perceptions are like that jar. They give structure, but they also confine. Letting go of fixed ideas doesn't mean you abandon all structure. It means you stop treating structure as the truth. The mind thrives on certainty, on knowing this is how it is and this is what will happen. But certainty can become a cage. It can blind you to the deeper truth that reality is alive, fluid, and far larger than the rules you've been taught to follow. When you begin to loosen your grip on these certainties, something remarkable happens. The familiar world starts to look different. A walk down the same street feels new because you're not projecting ahead to where it ends. A conversation feels richer because you're not rehearsing what to say next or analyzing what was just said. You start to notice subtle details you've been too busy to see: the sound of wind threading through leaves, the warmth in a stranger's smile, the way light shifts across a wall as clouds pass overhead. Meditation can be a powerful practice for opening this way of seeing. Each time you sit and notice your breath, you are practicing letting go of thoughts about past and future, of judgments about how you're doing, of the need to control what comes next. Over time, this practice seeps into your everyday life. You start to carry that same openness into moments that once felt fixed and predictable. Of course, the mind resists this. It doesn't want to let go of the rules because the rules feel safe. Even if they limit you, they give you something to hold on to. But the safety they offer is an illusion. The truth is that life is never fully predictable, no matter how tightly you try to hold the reins. When you let go of the illusion of control, you're not stepping into chaos, you're stepping into reality as it truly is. Spacious, unmeasured, and full of possibility. There's a certain humility that comes with this shift. You begin to see that the mind's version of reality is only one story among many. And that story is shaped by habits fears, and past experiences. You see that your certainties about how things should be have often kept you from experiencing how things actually are. And you realize that beneath all the layers of assumption, there is a deeper truth, one that doesn't need to be controlled or defended, only experienced. In this way, letting go of fixed ideas is not a loss. It's an expansion. It's like moving from a single room into a wide open landscape. You still carry with you the ability to return to the room when you need to use structure when it serves you, but you are no longer confined by it. This shift can also change how you relate to yourself. Instead of holding on to a rigid self-image, I am this kind of person, I am not that kind of person, you begin to see that you are not a fixed entity. You are a living process, always changing, always responding, always becoming. This opens the door to growth you may have thought was impossible. You can try new ways of being without the heavy weight of, but that's not me. You can meet challenges with curiosity instead of fear. Letting go of fixed perceptions is not about erasing your past or pretending you know nothing. It's about holding your knowledge lightly, knowing that there's always more to see. It's about making space for surprise, for life to show you something new, something beyond what you could have predicted. And in that space, you may find the deeper truth of existence, that you are not separate from the world around you, and that the same boundless awareness that holds the stars also holds you. So the invitation is simple but not easy. Notice the next time you catch yourself saying, I know how this will go. Pause, loosen your grip, ask yourself, what if I don't? Then step into that moment as if it were completely new, because it is. In doing so, you begin to live not from the small comfort of certainty, but from the vastness of truth. We spend so much of life acting out a role we didn't consciously choose. We walk through the world as the self, the collection of our name, our body, our history, our habits, and the labels we've gathered over the years. We say, I am this kind of person, or I can't do that because these statements feel like facts, but most of them are only agreements we made long ago, often without realizing it. They form the walls of a small room we call me, and we live inside it for so long that we forget there's anything beyond it. But there is a beyond. The shift begins the moment we realize that the limited self, the one defined by personal history and boundaries, is not the whole of who we are. It's not even the most fundamental part. Beneath it is something vast, open, and unbroken. Awareness itself. This awareness is not bound by your age, your appearance, your successes, or your failures. It is the quiet witness to everything you've ever experienced, and it has never been harmed or diminished by any of it. The challenge is that we are deeply identified with the limited self. We feel its edges in our bodies, we hear its voice in our thoughts, and we see its reflection in the way others respond to us. This identification can be so complete that the idea of stepping beyond it feels impossible, even threatening. Who would I be without my story, without my role, without my boundaries? The answer is not a blank slate or a loss of identity. It is the discovery that your identity is far larger than you imagined. You are not only the character moving through life, you are also the screen on which the entire story plays. You are the awareness that holds not just you, but everyone and everything you encounter. This shift is rarely sudden. More often it comes in glimpses, moments, when the small self loosens its grip and you feel yourself expand. Maybe it happens in meditation, when the chatter of thought grows quiet and you sense a vast stillness that feels more like home than anything else. Maybe it happens in nature when you stand before a mountain or an ocean and the sense of I fades into the immensity of what you see. Maybe it happens in love, when the boundary between you and another dissolves and there is only connection. The more you notice these glimpses, the more you can invite them. One way is to question the voice of the limited self. When you hear it say, I can't do that, or I'm just not the kind of person who, pause, ask, who is saying this? Then take a breath and notice the awareness that hears the thought. That awareness is you and it is not limited. Another way is to practice shifting your perspective from I am in the world to the world is in me. Right now, as you listen, your entire experience of life sights, sounds, sensations, thoughts is happening within your awareness. You're not actually inside the world the way you think. The world as you know it is inside the space of your knowing. This is not a trick of philosophy, it's a direct experience you can test for yourself. Living from this limitless awareness doesn't mean ignoring your human life. You still care for your body, fulfill your responsibilities, and engage with the world. The difference is that you do it without being confined by the small room of me. You move through life like an open sky that holds all weather storms come and go, but the sky is never damaged. When challenges arise, the limited self reacts with fear or defensiveness because it feels threatened. The limitless self responds with openness because it knows nothing can truly diminish it. From this place, you can meet life with more courage and less resistance. You can take risks, not recklessly, but with the understanding that success or failure doesn't define you. This shift also changes how you relate to others. When you no longer see yourself as entirely separate, empathy becomes natural. You recognize that the same awareness looking through your eyes is looking through theirs. Even when you disagree, you see the shared ground beneath your differences. This doesn't mean you lose discernment, it means you engage from connection instead of division. Perhaps the most liberating part of living from your limitless nature is the sense of creative possibility it brings. The limited self operates within a narrow set of options shaped by past experience. The limitless self sees no such restriction. It knows that each moment is fresh, that life can move in directions you cannot predict or control, and that this unpredictability is not a threat, but a gift. This is not an intellectual belief to adopt. It's a way of being to practice. Every time you notice yourself contracting into the small self, you have a choice. You can stay there, repeating the same patterns, or you can pause, feel the space of awareness, and let yourself expand again. Over time, the expansion becomes more natural than the contraction. And this is how the shift happens, not by forcing yourself to be more than you are, but by realizing you already are. You are the sky, not the passing clouds. You are the ocean, not the single wave. You are the awareness in which the story of me appears, and you can live from that truth. Let's turn the concepts we've been exploring into a direct experience. This is not just an exercise, it's a doorway. Through it, you can step into the reality beneath your usual way of seeing, where the body is spacious, time is optional, and the walls of limitation can dissolve. Find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed for a while. Sit comfortably, either on a chair with your feet on the ground or on a cushion with your legs crossed. Let your hands rest loosely in your lap. If it feels right, close your eyes. We'll begin with the body. Bring your attention to the simple fact of your physical presence. Feel the weight of your body pressing into the ground or chair. Notice the contact points, your feet against the floor, your back against the seat, your hands touching your legs. These sensations give you the sense that your body is here occupying space. Now gently explore this perception. Ask yourself, where does my body end and the space around me begin? Is it at the surface of my skin? Or can I feel the warmth of the air? The subtle energy that extends beyond the skin surface? Allow yourself to sense that your body is not a sealed container but part of the space it exists in. With each breath, imagine the boundaries of your body softening, as if the space within you and the space around you are the same continuous field. As you settle into this, notice the shift. When the edge is blurred, the idea that space begins when I assume I have a body becomes more than a phrase, it becomes an experience. You are still aware of the body, but you no longer feel entirely separate from the space it occupies. Now, let's move to the mind and its creation of time. Bring your awareness to your thoughts. Don't try to stop them, simply watch them appear and disappear. Notice how each thought carries with it a sense of time, a memory that points to the past, a plan that projects into the future, a judgment that compares now to then. Without chasing any thought, see if you can notice the gap between them, the moments of pure presence before the next thought arrives. In those gaps, time loses its hold. You're not in before or after. You're in the unmeasured now. Rest in one of those gaps for as long as you can. When a thought arises, let it go as easily as a cloud passing across the sky, and return to the stillness that remains. You may notice that the stillness feels different from ordinary rest. It's not empty in a dull way, it's alive, full, almost luminous. This is the now without the frame of time. When you touch it, even briefly, you remember that time begins when I start thinking is not just a concept. It's a reality you can step into at will. Now, bring your attention to the sense of self, the I, that feels separate from everything else. Ask yourself, what makes me feel like me? Is it my body, my thoughts, my memories, my roles and relationships? As you consider each, see if you can notice the limits they place on you. The body says, you are only here, not there. Thoughts say you are this kind of person, not that kind. Memories say you are the product of what has happened before. And yet, if you set all of this aside, even for a moment, something remains. The awareness that is noticing these things is not bound by them. It doesn't have a size, a shape, or a story. It is limitless. Rest in that awareness. Feel how, from here, causality, the idea that one thing leads to another in a fixed way, starts to dissolve. Life is no longer a chain of events. It is a single flowing presence. Now, let's weave all three together. Sense your body as space. Rest your mind in the now between thoughts. Rest your sense of self in the boundless awareness that holds it all. If you find yourself thinking, am I doing this right? Let that thought go. There is no right or wrong here, only the direct experience of being. Stay here for a few breaths or for as long as you like. When you're ready, bring your awareness gently back to your surroundings. Feel the weight of your body again, the sounds around you, the texture of the air on your skin. Slowly open your eyes, letting light and color return. Notice how you feel. You may sense more openness in the body, more spaciousness in the mind, more possibility in the way you view yourself. You may also feel an ease you can carry with you, a reminder that you can return to this awareness at any moment, whether you're in the middle of a busy day or standing alone under the night sky. The more often you practice this, the more natural it becomes. You start to see the world not only through the lens of the body, time, and causality, but also through the awareness that holds them all. And that awareness is where your truest freedom lives. Awareness is not something you leave on the meditation cushion. Its real power is in how it changes the way you live, moment to moment, breath to breath. It's in the way you walk into a crowded room and feel spacious instead of tense. It's in the way you wait in a long line without slipping into impatience, because you've stopped measuring the moment against the clock. It's in the way you face challenges without collapsing into fear, because you know the self you think can be harmed is not the entirety of who you are. When you carry the awareness of space into daily life, everything around you softens. You notice the room you're in not as something outside of you, but as something continuous with you. This isn't about pretending walls don't exist. It's about feeling that the walls are not boundaries for your being. You can be fully present in your body while knowing you are more than your body. That knowing creates a natural ease. You stop clinging so tightly to your position in space, to the need to defend your little corner. Instead, you feel part of the whole. The same is true with time. Once you've tasted the now without thought, the grip of the clock loosens. This doesn't mean you abandon your responsibilities. It means you no longer live as if every second is a drop of sand slipping away. You meet deadlines without panic. You make plans without losing the present moment to them. Even the smallest experiences, a sip of tea, the sound of rain, the pause before answering a question become richer because they are no longer rushed. And with causality, the shift is just as profound. When you see that cause and effect is only one way of understanding life, you stop living as if the future is already written. You stop holding yourself back because of imagined outcomes. You start acting from openness instead of fear. This doesn't make you reckless, it makes you responsive. You still see connections between things, but you also see that those connections don't have to trap you. The more you integrate these shifts, the more your relationships change. You listen more deeply because you're not rushing to the next thing in your mind. You give people space to be themselves because you're not locked into a fixed story about who they are. You respond with patience because you're not measuring the conversation against your expectations of how it should go. The people around you feel this. They feel seen not as a role in your story, but as part of the same awareness you live from. It's important to remember that this is not about holding a perfect state of awareness all the time. Life will still pull you into its currents. You will still forget, still get caught in stress, still feel the weight of time and space. But now you have a way back. You know that spaciousness, timelessness, and freedom are never gone. They're just covered by thought and habit. And with practice, you can return to them more quickly each time you notice you've left. A simple way to integrate this is to use daily cues. When you step through a doorway, remember space. When you hear a clock or check the time, remember the now. When you feel yourself saying, I can't, or that's just how it is, remember possibility. Over time, these small reminders stitch awareness into the fabric of your life until it's no longer something you practice, but simply the way you live. And here's the quiet truth. Living this way doesn't make life dull or detached. It makes it more vivid. When you are not bound by the tight frame of space, time, and causality, you can meet each moment as it is without the need to push it away or pull it closer. You are free to be surprised. You are free to be fully here. Carrying spaciousness means knowing you belong wherever you are. Carrying timelessness means knowing you are never running out of the present. Carrying freedom means knowing you are more than any role, any story, any expectation. Together they make life feel less like a series of problems to solve and more like a field to explore. And the beautiful thing is, you don't need to wait for a perfect, quiet moment to access this. You can do it right now, wherever you are. Feel the space your body is in. Listen for the silence beneath the sounds around you. Notice the thoughts passing through, and then notice the awareness they're passing through. That awareness is already free, already timeless, already boundless. You don't have to create it, you only have to remember. The more you remember, the more life changes, not because the outer world rearranges itself, but because the way you move through it does. You become less reactive, more at ease, more attuned to the subtle richness of each moment. And perhaps most importantly, you begin to live with a quiet trust that no matter what happens, you are never truly separate, never truly out of time, never truly limited. This is the gift of returning to awareness, the gift of carrying spaciousness, timelessness, and freedom into every step, every breath, every heartbeat. It's not something you have to wait for. It's here now, waiting for you to notice. If this journey has helped you touch even a moment of spaciousness, timelessness, or freedom, let it be the beginning of a new way of living, not just a passing insight. Take what you felt here into your daily life, into your work, your relationships, and the quiet moments you share with yourself. Share in the comments how this practice has shifted your perspective, because your story might be the reminder someone else needs to find their own opening. If this exploration resonated